Hey everyone, we are taking a look at Sunken Temple in World of Kings, and this is in adventure mode. Now I was trying to get a lower DPS group so that I could get the mechanics down, but each time I ended up with a bigger DPS in it. So for the first boss, this is pretty accurate as to what you'll probably see. The second two, I'll update it if I find more mechanics and certainly better strategies, but this dungeon is actually not too bad. Alright, clear all the mobs to the first boss, and then go ahead and pull the first boss. Now this is a beautiful dungeon. I really like the graphics here. It's kind of cool with the underwater thing going on. Now the first boss has a couple attacks. Nothing that seemed like it did a ton of damage, so you don't have to watch out too much. He does a few AoE attacks. Now there's this cone of damage in the front, and that will just face the tank, so I just face the boss away from the raid. There's also a line attack that he does that, again, you just want to face away from the raid for. That's right there. Alright, we had lower DPS on this boss, so I'm going to fast forward through a lot of the section because you've already seen the two mechanics there that he does. Now after that, he gets to a few new mechanics, and that is where he targets each of the players with this yellow line. Now when I got it, I didn't get any damage, so I suspect that as long as you don't run over your friends, that you probably won't get too much damage for this. Again, I just kind of faced it away from everyone, and it seemed to do just fine. It does hit everyone's, or at least the tanks and the DPS, it looked like. We lost our healer for this, so it didn't really help much. So anyway, after that is a mechanic. There's some more lines. After this is a mechanic that I only saw on this run because of the lower DPS, so you might skip this one. And this is a whole room AoE. It looks like it just does kind of like a light pulsing damage, and then he hits for kind of a larger damage. But it didn't seem to do much. I mean, we didn't even have a healer for this run, and the DPS survived just fine. So I think that we're okay with that one. And that's pretty much it for the first boss. You're just avoiding the lines and the triangle that the tank gets, and then the ones that attack the DPS, as well as we did get another round of that pulsating orange thing where it did some AoE damage to everyone, but again, it wasn't large, and the group here wasn't huge DPS, so I think that you should probably be okay for this first boss. If nothing else, it'll be a simpler boss on this particular dungeon. After that is just a straight line kill the mobs to the boss, and I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through most of that. Alrighty, and here we are at the second boss. Now for this, again, this one seemed fairly easy. In the beginning, you want to keep moving around because he does these attacks that will root you and stun you if you get hit. So you just move back and forth a little bit. Here you can see I was just stunned just because I was typing instead of paying attention. And then he's got some yellow circles that you avoid that are fairly easy to avoid, so it wasn't really a huge issue. Up next, he does a round of these little ball-like things that move in and out. The message say to destroy the balls before they explode, yet I didn't really see any explode, and the ones that possibly could have exploded did seem like they didn't do any real damage. But I suspect that probably our DPS just killed them before they exploded. So just make sure that you kill the balls. I did my AoE attacks a little bit with my dragons on these, and it seemed like it was fine. I would suspect just don't stand right next to the ball when it explodes. And that's it for this fight. You do another round of dodging the little stun bullet things, and then more of the balls and some of the yellow circles if you get them. And that was really it for this boss. He was really, again, fairly simple. There is one more mechanic that I saw, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through some of this so that we can get to it. Again, I'm just kind of dodging the spiky things, avoiding balls, and he seems to do some sort of whirlwind thing, but I'm not really sure. It didn't really do much. But here we have a round of these, just avoid the AoE things. So kind of move out for the circles, you can move in for the circles, and I thought I saw ones from some of the other runs that was the whole outer room. So you had to move in. Again, it was fairly simple. Okay, moving along to the third boss. Now this, just clear out the mobs in the circle. However, you can't go straight down to the boss. On the left and right of this circle are two smaller bosses, again, that you just have to kill in order to unlock the seal on the last boss. So here you can see there's stairs over here, and you just go up and kill this mob at the side. He's actually fairly simple to kill. He doesn't have a huge amount of hit points or any AoE damages or anything like that. There are two name mobs down by the portal entrance to the third boss, but again, they're not huge or noteworthy. Nothing that they're doing as far as damage that's something you should be overly concerned about. Once you clear those, head to the other side of the circle and get that other mob, and then go ahead and kill him to unlock the entrance to the last boss. Okay, last boss. Now, I think this is going to be really interesting when we get to Overlord mode for this particular dungeon. So the first attack, I guess you could say, that the boss does are these purple puddles, and you want to drop the purple puddles in kind of the middle of the area, and this is for DPS gets targeted with this. And I don't know if there's a message over their head or what, but you will see that the DPS will drop purple puddles, and the tank I keep away from the others because you do get a circle. But see, here's the purple puddles, and just kind of drop them in the center like this. Up next is a sheer damage, and for that, again, just normal sheer damage mechanics. Okay, after this, I think is the Whirlwind phase, and so for that, they'll come across the zone from the back to where the entrance to the door was. Now for that, you just stand behind the puddles here, and what happens is when the whirlwinds hit the puddles, it stops the whirlwinds, but it also gets rid of the puddles. So it's just a way to kind of block those whirlwinds, otherwise they go completely across the zone. After that, everybody becomes PvP, and they're attacking the tank. Don't attack the tank. And so watch out, because people's names will turn red and you will be PvP to each other. So for that, and then right afterwards, there's seeds, and anybody who's in that seed will also turn PvP. So if you have the purple circle around you, which I'll have a better shot of later, anybody who's in that purple circle with you will get PvP. So then there's this line that moves across the zone, and this is not a good shot of it, so I'll go over that more later. I didn't find it did a lot of damage, but again, in Overlord it's going to be challenging. Okay, so here, let's see, I think up next is where we got another round of the seeds, and I think Alex had a great spot where he had seeds. And I'm trying to see where it is. There it is. He's got the purple circle around him, and he moves in, and it ends up PvPing another player too. So if you get the purple circle, move out, and if you're PvP with the red text above your head, just move out as well. That way you're not getting AoE damage from your friends. Now again, here's this line in the back. There's a mob it's connected to, and it will go across most of the zone. Here you can see the purple puddles do not stop that line. So we have to figure out a good way to kind of avoid that line, because there's only a small space on the other side of that line that you can stand in to avoid it. And I'll show that in just a second. Here the whirlwinds are coming across again. And again, you'll be able to see that we are not really doing any damage to the boss, but we are standing behind those puddles. So we do get those whirlwinds to block those puddles there. Okay, after that we just do more sheer damage, and the DPS continue to be PvP with the seeds. So there's the sheer damage, and next will be one of these seeds there where the DPS is PvP again. Alright, and then I get the circle again, which you just move out of the way so that you avoid the little damage that the boss does. Alright, up next should be the line, and I'm actually in a good position for it this time. I just move on the other side of the line, so I'm in the small section to avoid the line going across the room. And I don't know of a great way to do it. I'm going to have to really watch the positioning of the mob that spawns the line, but at least you can see how you can avoid it if possible. So thank you for watching, and this is VGO40, and you're watching VGO Girl, and hopefully you found this helpful. I'm really looking forward to this in Overlord mode next week.